Hello. So we're back to the box for this video. I'm sure as if you've seen last week, you'll know what this one is. It's exactly the same figure, but much more damaged. So we'll just be taking these two parts. I think that's actually it that I can repair for the time being from this box. This is the last repair video from that box originally. I got in contact with the seller, and he sold me a bunch of broken arms that he had, which was ideal because obviously I need a replacement arm. Amongst those arms was the original arm from this figure. So he had this the entire time and didn't realise that it was just in a bundle. So I now have both the original arms, which my plan originally was to be quite creative with this. I could fully just repair it as it is, make him back to like normal Diamond Select, but I'm going to continue with my plan. I'll repair him fully, I'll upgrade him, we'll give him some new bits. First things first, I'll show you how to fix up a shoulder joint like this or a bicep swivel. So the first thing you want to do, you want to get a drill. You can do a screw method as well. I've shown that before. There'll be a link in the description to that, to Winter Soldier one I fixed. But as you see there, drilled holes, shoved some bits of metal, not beam because it's not that big, rod. There you go. You can also put it straight into the bicep and have the hole fit into the shoulder. It depends. For whatever reason, it ended up sticking to the bicep on the left arm, but the shoulder on the right arm. So you can see I've got two different ways of connecting it, which works out just fine for what my plan is here. So you can already see it is a very clear fix for just fixing arms back on. Very simple. This one's a little bit stiffer, just because I added some super glue onto it because I wanted this arm to be more difficult to remove. I wanted this to be more of like a semi-permanent fit back in, so it's quite a tight fit. Whereas the other arm, his right arm, is designed to be removable for reasons you've either seen in the thumbnail or you're going to see soon. So yeah, this is him with his arms back. You get the full range of movement he had originally, full rotation, of course. Depending on what glue you've used, it can wear down. If you've used like a thinner bit of metal rod, it has different tendencies. But you get the idea. For the most part, it's a fairly solid fix. A lot more solid than having nothing there. As you can see, I've kind of wonked that arm a little bit, but we'll ignore that. That's one of the precautionary issues with drilling holes and eyeballing it. One arm's perfect, one arm's wonky. You get it. You can also see his torso's glued here, so this is me trying to remove it. I was originally going to go with my scalpel and cut the glue out. I really struggled with that and I was worried about cutting myself. So I chucked him in a cup of hot water and just softened the plastic until I could bend it. You can see it did end up tearing the blue paint off, which I meant to fix and completely forgot. So I don't end up fixing that at all in this video. But I don't end up fixing a whole lot of the paint. I end up doing more of like the physical side of this. So I'm just going to take a scalpel to his joints, free up some space. So I wanted more movement out of the neck, as you'll see later how much this improves it as well. I also did the same to his abdomen. So there's loads of plastic there, loads more that needs to be. So I went and gouged an absolute ton of it out because it was limiting the articulation hugely. And this is it after I've taken all the chunks out. I did slice my thumb open. Nice, very adult plaster there. Nice Iron Man plaster. They're on discount in Asda, so got them. Now, this doesn't seem like all that impressive for a figure, but we'll compare it to the original one. The one on the right is the original with like no changes to the articulation. This is the one I repaired last week. So this is like all original plastic, nothing modified. This is the best the articulation of the original can do. This is what the new articulation allows. Like, much more potential for Spider-Man poses with this. Even the side movement is like hugely improved. Like if you see here, you're really not getting much from that old version. The main difference that I quite like is the head. I did hollow some out of the head itself, but most of that just gave me articulation for, not articulation, the ability to remove the head. Because you've got like barely any up or down, any side to side. This, loads of side to side. More down than you originally had. Although I will admit it leaves quite a gap because of how much I cut out. I may have cut out more than I needed to. But look at that upward movement. That's like miles better than it was originally, because you can't even look up on the original. Next thing I want to fix are the toes. Or lack thereof. He's not got any toe articulation, so I kind of do more of this off screen than I meant to. But I drilled holes through. I cut the toes off once I drilled the holes, cut squares out, ran the pins through, cut off the excess material I needed to, and then glued the toes, or the block for the toes back on, and ran the pin through the toes themselves so it connects back to the original block that's glued onto the feet. I hope that makes sense. If you want a separate video for this, I will do it to another figure. Leave a comment below if you do want that, and I will be more than happy to do it, because I kind of glossed over it here. Not my best toe joint, mainly because it's the only one I've ever done. But yeah, they work very well. They just don't look particularly nice. They've got a jagged kind of look to them. I should have sanded them down a bit. But now that that's done, I've done the main bits I wanted to. We'll go with some creativity. So this is the arm I originally wanted from the bundle that he sold me. And this is the head that I had from the original bundle he sold me. Again, figures that cross over between the bundles. I think he just didn't check what was in what, but the guy is absolutely lovely. I don't expect him to go through and like check everything. But obviously you can see the main issue is we have a shoulder joint there that we no longer need. So a bit of hot water, pop that off. This wrist joint is also extremely tight and I want to be able to change hands out. So I'm going to use my wire cutters, and I just snipped the little bits of excess off there. And now it's removable without boiling it. A very simple fix, but something I really wanted to do. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have to edit this quite a lot. You can see how loose it is on this ball peg. So what I did to fix that is I put super glue on the inside of the joint of the head. I also used this to sculpt on top of it. And I cut the jaw and turned it upside down to reduce it. So that's green stuff. This is the clay that I used. It's normally Warhammer kind of thing you use it for. And I've added some tendrils onto there, onto the Carnage arm. Added my own tendrils that plug here from this scene.
Want to hunt? I'll give him one he'll never forget!
Mildly aggressive, but that's removable. There's the steel joint that you saw originally. This is the head. Was the Carnage head. You can see I've done a lot of sculpting. Not my best sculpt, admittedly. I kind of started to run out of time, as you can tell by the video being late. And then I had excess clay left over. So I wanted to recreate this thing from the Hot Toys. Not the best quality photos, I do apologise, but this is the best I could get on such quick requirement. Went and painted this with I believe it's a hammered metal effect, black paint. Not really much hammered metal effect going on. I kind of wanted the weird like cellular effect it gave. It didn't give much of that, but it does have a very nice black gloss sheen to it with a metallic undertone. Very symbiote-like. I've also painted the white in the eyes of this. I did also paint a bit of the Spider-Man costume itself. I think I painted some of the white back in and the black on the Diamond Select. But yeah, very, very happy with how these turned out. And here it is on him. Honestly, very happy with this. The head sculpt, again, isn't perfect. It's a bit big. It's a bit gappy at the back. It's not quite the right shape. But again, I was starting to run out of time. I didn't want to like just not upload a video this week. And yeah, you know what, in all honesty, for a broken figure, we've now got what's essentially a PS5 half Venom Spider-Man, if you will. Also the web effect that I made of like the little symbiote bit from the Hot Toys that I showed earlier, that also fits my Marvel Legends PS5 Spider-Man that I repaired 2 weeks ago, or upgraded 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I am very happy with how this came out. The paint is wonderful. It wasn't actually fully dry at this point. I just needed the video recorded. So it was still a little bit tacky at this point. But you can see how nicely these tendrils work. He supports his own weight even with the new toe articulation. And it gives the exact effect I was going for. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I had in mind, actually, when I bought all the parts. Or when I bought the other arm. The paint I did have to go out and buy, but I already had all the rest of everything else. And yeah, it gives this gives a very nice effect to a figure that was originally very run down. But you can see that I did repaint the white chest logo, because that was very scratched. And I also repainted his original head, because I think the black around his lenses was broken, or like scratched off, so I did redo that. Which you can see here, actually. Yeah, and this is that web effect. It is slightly bending, because I think the clay also still wasn't hardened. This is how much of a rush I was to get this video out. But it does hold its shape. And you can see just how nice it fits there. There's no blue tack or anything. Because I sculpted it already onto this and then peeled it off, it has that shape to it. And I just want to showcase the toe joints here. I don't do a very good job of showcasing them, actually. You can see me struggle quite a bit because I didn't do it off screen very well. But that's him balancing on his toes. Immediately moving him, I somehow messed up the balance point. But the toes work, and again, if you want to see this tutorial done of the toes, very happy to record a video. I might even update the PS5 Miles Morales. Yeah, he really didn't want to balance for this video. But yeah, if you do want to see it, I'll modify the PS5 Miles that I have, and I'll give him toe articulation to match the PS5 Peter. Again, very, very difficult to pose when you've got what's essentially just a foam board base, so nothing sturdy. But you get the point. And then here he is again, just because I wanted to showcase that sheen a bit more. And this is actually how he still sat on my shelf. This is also me trying to position a nice thumbnail. So yeah, this is where the thumbnail came from. And if you guys want, this will be the next video. It's going to be a review of the Revoltech. Thank you for watching.